All right. Happy Sunday, everybody. Doing a weekend Bitcoin update. We have the weekly candle close. We have the CME gap to talk about. This is Crypto Rolly, the crypto watch that never stops. Live technical analysis, price predictions, and trading. Hit that like, subscribe, tick the bell for notifications, leave me a comment. This is not financial advice. These are my own ideas and opinions on the market. So please do your own research. Trade at your own risk. I am not your financial advisor. Looking at the market, Bitcoin making some moves over the weekend, up 4% in the last 24 hours. You actually have 1.2 billion in real volume. Usually the weekend is slow, choppy, not worth trading, but you actually had some good moves this weekend. You have some slight gains across the board, looking good. Crypto fear and greed index still down at a neutral, to fearful level at the 40. You know what, guys? The fact that we have been this fearful and the price keeps moving up actually makes me bullish. The fact that we have pumped and pumped and, we're at a critical level, so maybe that's why some people are still fearful. But, usually after a large pump like this, we're up in the greedy euphoria range. And, when we're up here, that's when you're looking for a major pullback. But the fact is, we're still in the fearful range. So, as far as this goes, there's plenty of room to go. I think if we break 10K, 10.5, close the CME gap at 11.8, you can start to see this go into the euphoric range, and maybe that's when you get a pullback. But right now, if people are fearful and we just keep pushing up, I say just the trend is your friend until it's not. We have had some pullbacks, but the structure of this uptrend has not broken. So for me, I feel like this fear is mostly based on the pandemic, the fear of, the stock market crashing, the fear of a long-term recession, depression, whatever you want to call it. And, that's a genuine fear. However, the price keeps moving up. So keep that noted. All right, so looking at the chart, we are still in this range here. We maintained the 9,400 level that I said was critical. You can see there's this resistance box on the macro. Basically, based on previous price action, 9,400 to 10.5. You can see how it was resistance at this level. Resistance there, resistance. So that's the level we're looking at to beat. I know that's a large range here. 10.5, if you can break that, consolidate, I think, I'm already saying bull market above 8K. I've been saying this for at least 3 weeks now. As soon as we got to that point, I was saying above 7,800, 8K bull market. But if you are still skeptical, I think 10.5 would be that level that it would be hard to argue with, okay? You have one top, two top. You break that level, it looks pretty good if you zoom out. This V-shaped correction completely erasing the pandemic sell-off. This is the most bearish FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt event that we've ever seen in Bitcoin trading, and we just erased the entire loss. To me, that's definitely bullish. We are at this critical resistance line right now. Very subjective depending on how you draw your line. On my Coinbase chart, we're right at it. On my Bitstamp chart, we're actually above it. We'll take a look at that in a second. But we did maintain that 9,400 level when we had a bit of a dump on Friday. You can see we came down. And then we bounced right back above. Let me see on a 4-hour if this looks a little better. So it looked like we lost that level. Yes. So on a smaller time frames, we did lose that level. We came down to 9,100, but we were able to regain that critical 9,400. And on this chart, we're back above that trend line, okay? On the macro, just looking at this, you have your support box is down here between like 7,400 to 6,800. So if we do get rejected at this trend line, you could see that level act as a bounce zone, but preferably 7,800 would be the level to hold using support, resistance, support, breakout, okay? Resistance, breakout. You can see this playing out. So maintaining, anywhere between this is just still some sideways chop on the macro. If you lose this level, bear market, Bitcoin is trash, all those headlines to 1K. All right, you break 10.5, we're talking about breaking 20K by end of year. All right, so let's take a look at the weekly chart. Some CME gap talk. Hit that like for me. We'll start with the CME gap real quick. It's going to be below at current price. If we open at 97.80, the CME gap closed around 9400. You can see right around there on that daily candle. So looking at Bitstamp, that's going to be right there. So and you can see on this chart, and this is using the candle bodies on the weekly. You can see candle body, top, top, top. We are above it. So let's see where we close this weekly candle body. If we close the weekly above there, definitely a bullish indicator. However, you can redraw these diagonals any which way you like, and you're still putting in a lower high technically. Lower high technically. So yes, very good. And guys, I'm bullish. I said above 8K, I'm bullish. But, you know, there's still a level to beat, and that's that 10.5 basically. So if we open at current level, you could retest the CME gap zone, which is at 9,400, which is also exactly where we have that trend line. And you can see this trend line, you know, using the weekly candle bodies, how it rejected price exactly right there. Again, right there. Right there, you had a stall as well. It's, you know, it's crazy how it's playing out. So yeah, we could test back down, fill the gap, bounce, and continue higher, you know, and still be bullish. We're maintaining these critical levels. 9,200 was a horizontal. I've been talking about using resistance, support, resistance. We're above that level still. You know, we wicked down beneath it, but you can see on this daily candle, you maintain support above it. We're still above all of these critical support levels. So, you know, it looks like on a macro, you could be like flagging out almost. Let me get rid of that horizontal there. You know, I drew this on a BitMEX chart roughly, you know, something like that. And, you know, you could still be putting in a type of a flag, or we may just break it here. If we break out from this point and have a CME gap beneath, I won't be too excited about that. You know, you could break higher, and then you'd still have that lingering, you know, back of your mind, what about the CME gap at 9,400? Come back, retest that, and get a bounce. You know, because it's common to have a breakout retest, you know, and as long as that gap is there, I'm going to be cautious. So, you know, the game doesn't usually work the way you want it to work, but preferably I would like to maybe close it today, close it, bounce, and then continue on our way. Because if we're up here, you know, there's going to be that thought that we could come back down and test it, but you'd still be above a critical level again, okay? Looking down at the 4 hour, let me see. I mean, this looks good, guys. You know, we're getting a 4 hour close. Okay, we got it right now. So maybe a little bit of a reversal here. Let's look down. You got on the fast moving stoke, you do have a cross down potentially happening here. Well, you do. So we'll see if this one follows up on the slow moving stoke. And, you know, if this is a local top, you are putting in a little bit of a bearish divergence. This one's slightly higher. You have a slightly higher high and a slightly lower high on the RSI. However, this is not a confirmed top. You know, if we continue marching up, this, you know, there is no bearish divergence there. So you could fill out this range, you know, fill that gap there, bounce around, you know, creating maybe a range right in here and then get a breakout, okay? So looking at the weekly, and we'll go downward since we do have the weekly candle close today. I already spoke about, you know, closing above that trend line there. Also, let's see, for our moving averages, well above the yellow 21 EMA, looking good. We broke above it, retested it, bounced twice off of it, and we want to maintain above it down the road. As long as we are above the yellow 21 EMA on the weekly, I feel like we are in bull market territory, and I'm feeling good about, you know, the future of Bitcoin. Now, if we do get rejected here, you know, when you zoom out, you could see a potential head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulders, you know, a left shoulder, head, and if you came down and bounced in that support zone, you know, put in a right shoulder there. That is, you know, a potential short-term bear trend macro bull reversal possibly. Okay, so that's if we do get a rejection down there. Otherwise, you're looking good. Want to retest this level here. If we're able to get a daily candle close above 10.5, I think we'll close that CME gap up at 11.8 using your Ichimoku clouds. Okay, so I wanted to see where this weekly candle closed. I would love to close inside of this cloud. We were hitting resistance, hit the resistance there at the bottom of the cloud, 95.78. No, yeah, 95.78, and then you got rejected again. So we're at 97.45. I'd like to see us close in the cloud on the weekly, and then we could march up. The top of the cloud resistance is around 10,700, correct? Let me see. Yeah, 10,748. So, and that would put in a new higher high. There's a high, it'd be a higher high. And if we can consolidate above this weekly Ichimoku, and then this closes up and forms a green Ichimoku cloud, bull signal, bull signal, bull signal. Of course, we could close at levels here, retest that CME gap, get a wick, and then close back into the cloud on the next weekly candle. Always lots of possibilities, but on a macro, I still feel great about Bitcoin. Looking at the weekly Stokes, you did have that little bit of cross. We saw that played out, but it's not looking aggressive to the downside. And your slow-moving Stoke is still rising. Plenty of room to go. And if we close this candle like this, you're going to keep moving, ticking up. You could even see this curl back to the upside. When we're in bull territory, it can maintain in that upper region for quite some time. Going down to the daily. On the daily, you do have a cross, there as well. And, you kind of have a trend line here. You can see these lower highs. So if we get rejected here, putting in a little bit of a lower high, descending trend line on the fast moving Stoke, but your slow moving Stoke is crossed to the upside. So a little bit of a discrepancy there. The slow moving Stokes take more confirmations, and the fast moving is more sensitive. So, possibly that cross happened, that already played out there. We get the bounce here. This will continue higher. This will cross back up. We did, bounce off the neutral territory on the daily RSI. You bounced off of your Ichimoku conversion line. You don't have a cross here. Still looking bullish on daily Ichimokus. This daily candle looks good. If you can close that above this candle here, close that at 97, 93, 9800. If you can close this daily above 9800, I think you'll definitely see another stab up higher. Going down to your moving averages above the blue 10 simple, looking good. Of course, you could retest that as support again, 9300, if you want to maybe create. So we have multiple types of bull flags depending on your time frame. You have this potential bull flag on a larger view, but maybe if you zoom in, you even have like a bull flag kind of pennant, right? A pull flag and a pull there. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Going down to the 12-hour, let's take a look at the 12-hour. 12-hour moving averages, above all moving averages, the blue 10 simple holding up as support is at 94.80, looking good. Your Ichimoku clouds, you have the blue conversion line down here at 90.78 support, and a nice big cloud of support if we do fall further. And you can see that this support is rising, so even if you retest this level, you'll meet it over here. Your stochastics crossed up on the fast moving, so that's a nice was a nice signal if you caught that cross down here. And your Stokes looking to cross but hasn't confirmed, so this could actually change its mind and continue up higher if it likes. Going to the moving averages we looked at, we did talk about the other day on the daily, you did have that golden cross on the 50 EMA crossed above the 200 EMA, your orange 50 EMA and the 200 EMA. So far you did have that move play out, and then coming up in a day or two, let's take a look at it, the 50 simple moving average and the 200 simple. So that'll be the blue one there. All right, the dark blue. The dark blue and your pink, if you can see, it's coming here, so they're converging. So this week, if the price maintains this level, you'll see a golden cross on your daily simple moving averages. Going down to the 4-hour to wrap it up on the Bitcoin indicators, you do have support level down at this light blue 10 simple 95.45. If you do come back down, test your yellow 21 EMA is at 9,500. Of course, you could wick down to say fill that CME gap, but as long as you close your candle back above, still looking good and bullish. You did have that cross down, so you're getting that play out there, but you're still rising on your slow moving Stokes. And we already talked about that potential bearish divergence on the RSI, but this hasn't been confirmed as a local top yet. If you come down, close a 4-hour beneath this candle here, that will be a local top. That will be bearish divergence slightly, just ever so slightly. But I think we still look good. You know, as long as we maintain above these support levels I have mentioned, I still feel bullish. Of course, you're going to have pullbacks and corrections in between on lower time frames. So if you're a trader, you know, you have to have good risk management, you know, watching out for those lower time frames. If you're a hodler, I feel good. If you're dollar cost averaging, I feel good. You know, there's no point in being bearish until you see something actually bearish. Looking at the stock market real quick, just to see what we can see. We maintained that 2,800. That was a critical level to maintain, was 2,800. And we bounced off of that. So, you know, are we putting in a lower high and a new downtrend? You do have a lower low, lower low. So if you get rejected and that could be a lower high and then put in another lower low. This could be coming back down this way. So we'll have to see what happens. But, I said in the other video, a quote on CNBC was, nobody's bullish about the stock market, but don't short the Fed. So if the Fed wants to prop the stocks up, like they're going to do what they're going to do. So everyone expects it to keep coming down. In a rational world, it probably should. However, each week the unemployment rate, they're like, okay, another 2 million unemployed. And for some reason, you would think that would affect the stock market negatively, but it keeps rising. So no point in arguing with the charts, just follow the charts. All right, that's my advice. Take a real quick look over at some major altcoins. Link, I'm waiting on Link to break out. It needs to break above that $3.85 level. We did bounce after losing that trend line, did bounce, and it got rejected again at that same level. Tezos had a nice little breakout. So Tezos was consolidating in this level and broke out. So will Link be next? Ethereum had that breakout here, bounced off of that 195 we've been talking about. Nice bounce off to 195. Above 195, I am actually bullish on Ethereum. And Ethereum, has a June or July, we'll have Ethereum 2.0. They introduce POS staking on Ethereum, so you can just by holding Ethereum, you can gain more Ethereum the same way you can with Tezos, which is one of the reasons why Tezos has performed so well in recent months. So Ethereum could have the same effect. You could have a run up in price on hype, buy the rumors, sell the news type thing for Ethereum. So we'll have to keep our eye on that. This above this weekly, if you look at the daily on Ethereum, 195 has been playing out for quite some time. Support, resistance, and you had resistance broke out. Almost lost it back above, so we'll have to stay looking at the charts to see what happens with that. And that's been 19 minutes. Good. I've been talking fast. I think I've covered everything. Watch out for the CME gap below potentially. However, moving forward, I do feel bullish on Bitcoin. We need to break 9,800. 9,800 is that resistance level on the daily there, and we had seen that playing out earlier. So get above 9,800. You'll need to maintain 10K, but I think the more times you hit a resistance level, the weaker that level gets. So I think if we go back to 10K, we'll probably break it and then retest 10.5. You test 10.5, you have this level up here around 11.8 where you have a previous top, so that could be a level of interest, but also the CME gap. Break 11.8, we're going to attempt 14, and then end of year, staying bullish. Why not 20K? Why not? Why not? It's been over 2 years. I'm impressed that we've been in a sideways consolidation. In my opinion, if Bitcoin was worthless and going to zero, it had plenty of opportunity to dump on us. So we just keep defying all the critics. You have billionaires moving into Bitcoin, nothing but good news, great fundamentals. This pandemic is actually the perfect storm for what Bitcoin is trying to achieve. So there you guys go. My opinion. I've been sticking to it. I've been bullish for quite some time, several weeks, but in Bitcoin land, that is quite some time. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.